The subject masturbation has kept me quite busy over the last 2 years, but in fact throughout my life, as I like to sexually pamper myself. However, it often changes a lot depending on several factors. But since I started Tantra about 2 years ago, to experience real self-love and to get deeper into my femininity, masturbation has a whole new meaning for me. During a women's retreat, I learned to make contact with my pelvic floor and uterus through breathing and rituals, but also by touching the cervix. Once this area is properly activated and free from tension, it becomes a huge erotic zone, which is extremely enjoyable. I now look very differently to self-love and masturbation. I still like it just as much, but with a different intention and in a different way. As a young girl, I taught myself to touch myself without shame. A hippie mother raised me, and we often walked naked in the house without being ashamed. I think I started around 9 or 10 years old to massage myself, my butt and vagina too. I had no idea about the clitoris. I like to touch everything. I do not know if I had orgasms at this age. As a teenager, I had sex for the first time. I was very excited, and my boyfriend was just like me, 14 years old. We had been experimenting with sex for years, and I always came several times, vaginally and through the clit. After having sex for the first time, I started to penetrate myself more with my fingers and household objects such as deodorant rollers or other things I secretly took with me. My libido has always been very strong, and if I temporarily had no boyfriend or bedtime partner, I often masturbated. I could think of a sexy man or a nice sex that I had and read a lot of erotic stories for women. As a young adult, I also had a few threesomes together with a friend, and because we lived together, we also sometimes sexually treated each other and masturbated together. After I met my current husband, the frequency in masturbation has gone down, especially in the beginning because we had a lot of sex, but also later because I shared the bed with him and we lived together. I had less time for myself, and he sometimes did not like it when I was busy with myself. When I was in love with someone else for a while, I often masturbated, thinking of him. For example, in the shower, or when my husband was not at home. It was a colleague of mine, and I also remember that I even masturbated once or twice on the toilet of the work, super horny because he was so close by. I then stood with my one leg on the toilet and quickly fingered myself until I got an orgasm. It was a mutual love, and even though we never had sex, we did sometimes masturbate together. During my pregnancies, my husband sometimes found it a little annoying to make love with me. Contrary, I was very horny. I did occasionally even watch porn, often with women who are busy with each other, but preferably porn for women. I am bisexual, but as a monogamous person, I never really put it into practice, except in my younger years. In my second pregnancy, when I was 37, I read an article about the G-spot orgasm and about ejaculating women. I then applied a different technique, and since then I've been able to generate G-spot orgasms with myself. For 2 years now, my relationship with my own sexuality has changed a lot. Since my pelvic floor and uterus have woken up and now active in completely different ways, I apply a completely different technique. I do not even have to touch myself to get an orgasm. With my husband, I have much deeper orgasms, and since 1.5 years, I also have a girlfriend with whom I regularly have sex. With her, I try the same techniques as with myself, and that leads to delicious orgasms and a very long, intense sex. When I masturbate now, I often think of her body, which excites me a lot. But also, I often do not think about anything, and I just enjoy the touch of myself. When I start a self-love session, I begin with touching my whole body. I'm always in the bedroom, and I put on music and light candles or incense. I really create a special moment for myself. I massage my whole body first, really from head to toe with coconut oil. My arms, hands, neck, throat, breasts, belly, pubic area, legs, feet, buttocks, my back. It all receives attention. I can take a long time for this. Eventually, I touch my vagina. The labia I massage slowly and thorough. I squeeze it with my fingers, and I press against it. I massage the perineum a lot and the entrance of the vagina before I go inside. Often, I am already very excited before I go in with my fingers. I don't give much attention to the clitoris. When I am too busy with my clitoris, I want to get horny and I want to come too quickly. The masturbation then becomes something else. I massage the internal of my vagina as much as the outside. Every spot, every piece, I feel everything. Some places are very soft, others more rough. Some are very horny, others almost numb. This is also the case with my girlfriend, to really feel and to not cause too much rubbing. When I have sex with my husband, we also do it now in this way. Less sex, but more feeling every part, taking the time. Some areas of the vagina are very orgasmic, and sometimes I come already, even though I don't make much effort. I then become wetter and my labia becomes more swollen and all the touch feels good. The uterine cervix and the spots around it are very horny. Sometimes I'm on my knees because I can reach it all better. Sometimes I lie on my back with raised legs, and sometimes I lie on my stomach with my buttocks up and my fingers from behind. I also use a crystal dildo, not thick, but quite long in shape so you can reach all the different places. I often touch my breasts and sometimes lick my fingers, especially because it reminds me of oral sex with my girlfriend, which makes me very excited. The uterus orgasm is very intense. It is not so easy to cause yourself because it is more difficult to reach it. My husband and girlfriend can achieve this more easily. A G-spot orgasm can be done by both myself and my partners. When I have a G-spot orgasm, I also ejaculate a lot. After a vaginal orgasm, I can always continue with having sex, also with myself. I can easily come 10 times during sex. However, once I come through my clitoris, it is done. Then I do not feel like it anymore. I also experience this with my girlfriend. The same applies if my husband comes. Then it often ends afterwards, as if the energy is gone. Unless I know that I am really ready, I can get a clit orgasm sometimes. It goes together with the other orgasms. I think that combination is best. But I don't always have to have it. If I do not get a clit orgasm, I can be excited for days and have great sex for several days in a row, either with myself or with one of the partners. Often the need for masturbation arises more from a need to take care of myself, to take time for myself or to comfort myself after a busy day or after a disappointment or difficult period. If I need pure release, then I sometimes masturbate by touching my clit directly. I get excited quickly and can come within 5 minutes. I often do this together with penetration through my fingers or a dildo. Often it is fast, hot, and a lot of friction, like I fuck with the dildo. This is also very good and has a good climax, but it is with a different intention than self-love. It is more of a satisfaction, as if you have an itch and need to scratch. So for me, there are several ways to masturbate, and it remains a very interesting topic.